What do you think's going to happen this week? I mean, with the whole Russia thing.
The Russia thing is just a big nothing, bro.
Really?
Also interesting to remember, it's illegal to possess these stolen documents. It's different for the media. So everything you learn about this, you're learning from us.
He could have undermined the messaging so much that he can actually control exactly what people think, and that is our job.
Yeah, at this moment in history, as we're looking at efforts across the country to prevent people from being able to exercise their fundamental rights, prevent people from being able to exercise their fundamental rights.
Jobs of the past are just not going to come back. And when somebody says that he's going to bring all these jobs back, well, how exactly are you going to do that? What are you going to do? I'm going to negotiate a better deal. Well, how? What magic wand do you have? How exactly?
Hi, Mr. Science.
What's up, everybody? Mr. Science is always making an appearance in the beginning. Welcome to Sanctimonious American Men. I'm Sanctimonious Barnes. With me, as always, is Saintly Brandon.
Hello. How you doing?
We're here to bullshit, and if you don't like bullshit, turn the channel now.
And get the hell out of here.
So as Brandon said in the beginning, we got banned for a little while there. We got YouTube reached out and touched us, kicked us off for a couple weeks.
Mrs. Susan, is that her name? Miss Susan.
So yeah, it's like Susan Jawiski, who I love very much, but never say anything ill about.
Yeah. Somebody's watching us.
Look at that bastard.
Somebody's watching us.
You dumb. Anyway.
So anyhow, we got booted for way back. It was a long time ago. Something we did on like episode 12.
Yeah.
So somebody was watching and flagged it.
Thought we were giving out medical disinformation.
Yeah.
Like telling you to be fat and it's okay.
Tony Fauci and Bill Gates.
Oh yeah, fucking Bill Gates and his fucking Microsoft.
Corn.
NBC.
He wants to sell you corn now?
Yeah, he wants to sell you corn.
He's just a farmer.
Yeah, he's fucking out of control. The dude, he's a prophet, Brandon.
Yeah.
He says that now he's saying there's going to be civil war, and I bet MSNBC fucking stokes it up every chance they get. I keep cursing, I'm sorry.
MSNBC. Yeah.
That's basically what Bill Gates wants you to believe.
MSNBC.
Yes.
Yeah, there's been a lot of news. The Rumble show did okay. It got some good views.
Superior to the YouTube one.
I think we're going to disappear into the Rumble though. Sometimes here soon, or we got to learn how to live stream.
Whatever, we'll get to
But you can say way more stuff over there. So
yeah.
we're probably going over there.
Yeah,
and
Key Law's over there now.
Ricada, man, he made the jump and people jumped with him.
That's good. Good to see.
That was huge. Yeah.
I like Rumble because all the people I used to watch who got banned off YouTube are on there.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
They're also on BitChute. BitChute's a little bit more
Old West.
Yeah, anything goes. So you're gonna see something you don't like. I don't know how snuff films became legal, but that's basically a thing now.
Well, they used to be on YouTube back in the day.
Yeah.
They used to. But we got a Rumble account. I think we're going to start doing some Rumble exclusive videos and
OnlyFans. So stay tuned.
We'll be migrating to other platforms. So, once we get booted off of here, we'll be over there.
Give it about 24 hours.
Yeah, I mean, we could end this live stream right now, but
they'll kick us off soon.
We got to be careful what we say. We can't be like Kanye West and just talk, because then we'll lose our bank accounts and we'll lose.
You can't say some people have all the power because you'll get booted and lose your bank accounts.
Yeah, for real.
Because you're spreading false information then, because, they boot you.
So, yeah, you can't accuse people of having too much power.
Right. You can't, unless it's the Irish and the police force, and that's okay. For some reason. I don't know why, but Italians and driveways.
So I seen. What should we talk about first? There's so much to cover. There's like lawsuits that are just media.
Let's go into that. Let's go into the record-breaking lawsuit, shall we?
Yeah.
Our old buddy Alex Jones over there,
AJ
AJ
on InfoWars,
Yep.
proving once again the name of his show is what's going on.
Right. And he got hit for about $1 billion, give or take a few, this week.
$1 billion.
It was the biggest defamation lawsuit ever.
Biggest lawsuit I think awarded ever.
Ever, yes, in all history.
Even that goes above like the what was it? Big Pharma. I forget if it was Pfizer or who it was, but for OxyContin, they got like hit with like 500 million or something like that for killing, countless individuals with their over-the-counter OxyContin.
Right. So he's
worse than that.
His fine is like 500 million more than the worst one that's ever been.
And
all they did is say something.
They killed probably at least 100,000 people with that stuff. Maybe 50,000. We'll just say 50,000. But they killed a lot of people with OxyContin.
No, I don't know these events that Alex were talking about are real or not. It doesn't really fucking matter to me. I don't know those people. This guy wasn't there. I didn't see it. But he didn't advocate violence against anybody. He just questioned the narrative, right? And apparently you're not allowed to do that anymore.
I guess not. No, that's exactly what we're talking about with Kanye.
Oh, yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
Not exactly, but, in a similar way, you just can't say shit.
Yeah, there's stuff you just can't say, otherwise you could have $1 billion lawsuit.
And
you know what I loved about that, though? So he asked him, he's like, you sell things on your show, don't you? And he's like, yeah. And then he's like, what do you sell on your show? And he's like, well, blah, blah, blah. And then he gives a pitch. He looks right at the camera and gives a pitch in the middle.
He's like, the best high quality.
Yes, it was so great. I was like, oh, my God, he just did a commercial in the middle of it.
I got to go check that out. Yeah, that's Alex. Always fucking ready to sell his high quality fucking nootropics and whatever it was. Fucking
yeah.
Bone broth. We got the best bone broth. It's gonna make you healthy. Going hand in hand with that, I saw so many people happy on Facebook. And you want to say something, but then, it occurred to me, it's like these people are still stuck in the whatever that business model is that Facebook is. They can't help themselves.
Well, I don't know what it is.
They have become like bots themselves.
There's a whole zombie
human bots.
That there's this narrative that's carried by MSNBC, NBC, CBS, ABC, CNN. Right, the list goes on, and it's carried over to Twitter, right?
Yeah,
Facebook, and it's this whole hive mind mentality, right?
They have become bots.
Yeah,
human bots,
and there's just no. They think that for some reason, Alex Jones needs to be fined or held accountable for exercising his First Amendment rights, and they don't realize that Alex is the canary in the coal mine. Now, I'm not the biggest Alex Jones fan, but I recognize if they could do it to Alex, they could do it to me, right?
Yeah, they can do it to Kanye. They can do it to you.
They can do it to you, right? Kanye is a billionaire. Maybe he'll help out.
I think he should start his own bank and just. That's what I'm thinking. He should start his own bank, the Bank of Kanye. And then people will be like, fuck yeah, okay, let's go to bank with Kanye.
Right.
That's my opinion. Fuck it.
That's
He's got the money to do it.
He does.
But with that, also these Facebook rejects, some of the stuff they were posting just made me laugh because they're contradicting themselves in the same fucking post.
Right.
They're like conspiracy theorists, things that really happened, and then they have things that are questionable, and they have like Epstein's death, and then they have things that are make you a danger to society, and it says jet fuel won't burn friggin' steel or metal, and I'm like, wait a second, you question Epstein's death, but but you're saying that jet fuel can't burn steel when Epstein has pictures of George Bush knocking over fucking a Jenga twin towers with paper airplanes.
Paper airplanes, yeah.
So it's like there's a disconnect between in your meme here that you don't even understand.
Right. I saw this thing this week where somebody found this old post, and they were talking about when a plane flew into the Empire State Building.
Yeah, burned fucking like for 18, 20 hours or something like that.
Right. But the Empire State Building held, and they were noting that the Twin Towers was built for the biggest plane at the time in the 70s to withstand the impact, but planes that got bigger by 2000, right? And the whole thread was what would happen, like if a plane did hit the World Trade Center. It was eerie, because it was from the 90s.
Right.
And, most people are speculating that nothing would happen, that.
Well, they were built for that, even though, like you said, they were built for smaller planes.
Right. Not much smaller, but smaller. And, the general consensus was that they would have to hit too high, right, to knock the buildings down, too high up on the building. They would need a lower
trajectory.
Right. And nobody predicted that they would fall, right?
Right.
And you could see the people are like, going on about what the materials are, and planes are made of aluminum, and
yeah,
things are made out of fucking steel.
Yeah.
So it was just an interesting read. Another one I came across was, what is it? Somebody asked on Reddit like 10 years ago, if you're someone who's I just thought this was creepy. If you're someone who's got a limited life expectancy, like you're terminally ill, what's your day-to-day like? And all the top comments they looked pretty legitimate of people that were sick.
Okay.
And as you're reading it, you realize all these people are dead.
Yeah.
Every top comment is dead now.
Oh, shit.
I mean, that's just a side note I found this week. That was interesting.
Well, I watched an interesting movie from, I think, 1983 or 4 or 6, in that era. It was called The Last Chase, and it was something I remember as a kid. And it stars Lee Majors, the $6 Million Man.
Yeah,
yeah. And this movie I always thought about it every now and then because I liked it when I was a kid. And I remember the plot being about like them getting rid of oil, and he was like dug up his race car to race it across the country as like a sign of defiance, but also he was trying to get to this free state that California was free California. And so anyways, the plot of this story was in 2011 a pandemic hits and it wipes out a bunch of population, and then they ban oil and take away everybody's cars, and 20 years go by, and finally like he just cracks and he's like, fuck this, and then like this free state comes back online and they're like, yeah, we're living normal out here, come and join us. And I just thought it was a pretty prophetic movie from 86.
Right. I mean, they've had this plan for a while now.
Yeah,
virtually our whole lives. We just weren't privy.
It's in the white papers.
Yeah, we just weren't privy to it. And it's the whole thing revolves around depopulation. Like every freaking move that they make results in depopulation. So
and that's why I think nuclear war is they don't give a fuck if they launch them.
No, they don't. And that's why they're fucking with Ukraine.
It just helps.
Yeah.
It just helps them get towards their fucking Georgia Guidestone rules.
Right. And this is the thing that gets me. All right, so Ukraine was invaded in 2014, and the United States sent blankets. They were invaded by Russia in 2014 when Barack Obama was president.
Yep.
And we sent blankets. What the fuck has changed since 2014 strategically that makes all of a sudden Ukraine this focal point that's worth blowing up the world for? Like, what happened? Like, how did we go from like sending blankets 7 to 8 years ago when they were invaded to like, all right, we'll blow up the whole planet? Like, how did that happen? something's wrong. Something's not right. You're being lied to.
Yeah. Where there's been no, like, not even any talk. Every time Elon mentions peace talks, he gets shit on by world leaders.
Yeah.
There's been no fucking mention of peace talks by anybody in the Biden administration.
No, not even interested.
It's like normally that comes first.
Right. I love how they found $70 billion to give to fucking Ukraine, but they didn't have $5 billion to build the wall. Anyway, go on.
Yeah, or Florida is having a hell of a time right now, and they could use some money instead of Ukraine.
When they sent that money, when they agreed to send that money, there was no electricity in Puerto Rico from the hurricane.
Jesus.
That's what they decided. They could have set up American Samoa for the next 100 years with that fucking money. We never have to worry about that territory again. They'd be making money, right?
It has to do just with energy and oil. I mean, you got to be a goddamn idiot to just not accept that.
Oh, that's exactly what it is. And I'm not saying that it's the only source of energy, right? But we don't have the other one yet, right? If we had an alternative that we could turn to, yeah. But you can't just flip a switch and decide that, we're going to ban oil and gas and just use electric cars because it's not going to work, right?
I heard
people will die.
I'd have to look into this, but I did hear France just announced that they're banning all domestic flights that are under 2 hours to help with saving the world.
Yeah, they're also checking you when you go to get gas. You actually have to need gas to buy it.
Jesus.
In your car, yeah.
Energy wars.
Energy wars.
Info wars. What other kind of wars can we start up?
Culture war.
That's already going. Yeah.
That's going. And that's another thing. Like, we've been underneath the PSYOP for the last fucking 30 years. We didn't realize it, right? Because we're divided by every measure that you can conceive of. Man and woman have a huge divide. Right now. There's a huge political divide between left and right.
Race
is another one they're pushing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Being Christian now is bad.
Your weight,
yeah. They're encouraging people to be overweight when there's no food around. I don't know what the fuck is going on.
Yeah.
And it just reminds me of the Yuri Bezmenov speech, right, where he's talking about how to subvert a society, a nation, right?
It's totally what's happening. I mean, without it, you go and watch that Yuri Bezmenov interview, and it's completely prophetic, and it's a playbook that's happening, and it's been happening.
Oh, it's been happening for over 100 years. It's how they took Russia. It's how they took Belarus for the Soviets.
And also, like, suppressing information as well, like the what we're talking about with these other people. But also, I was showing this to one of my nephews, Tom McDonald. He's the most, like, high-selling artist in the world, but the Billboard Top 100 won't let him on because he's not assigned to a major record label.
Right. The rapper you're talking about, Tom McDonald? You related to him?
Am I related to? No, I was telling my nephew. I was telling my nephew, Tom. Dude, how can this be? No. He just released a song the other day ago, and it's, over, like, 1.1 million views on YouTube.
Yeah, I saw it.
Sheeple.
Right.
Yeah. And it's a dumb word. I don't like that word, but
I'm not a big fan of the word either. I didn't really like the song that much either, to tell you the truth. But
he's got some good lyrics in it, though. The song's not great, but the meaning behind it is right.
Yeah,
he's like,
absolutely right.
They're dividing us, and we're, that's just helping them.
Back to that Yuri Bezmenov thing. He said in that interview 2 things that quote me. One is just factual. He talks about demoralization, right? Destabilization, crisis, and then normalization as the stages that a society goes through when they're subverted. And the other thing he said, once somebody's subverted, you could present them the facts, right? Hardcore evidence, right? Scientific evidence either.
Yeah.
And they won't believe it.
Right.
They just can't.
Well, that's filtering down into the classrooms now, speaking of nephews. In Saugerties High School, they're talking about the Alex Jones case and how they're telling all the kids, your speech has consequences. So, they're basically telling the kids, if you don't talk right, you're going to be fucking canceled or sued.
Right. And again, totalitarianism. Government gets involved into your speech, right? Because without the government there, without people suing them, right, and the government thinking this is okay, there would be no consequences except some feelings got hurt. Now, those people are getting paid millions of dollars because their feelings got hurt.
Yeah.
Unfucking real.
And the one thing, too, is like against the law in that case, in the Alex Jones case, where I guess you're not allowed to sue someone for defamation if they've never said your name. And the one FBI agent that got like $1 million or $100 million, Alex Jones doesn't even know the fucking
guy's name, right?
He doesn't even know the person.
I mean, he wasn't allowed to say he was innocent. There was all kinds of unusual.
That's the other point of this case is it's just a big show trial.
Yes.
And if once it gets appealed and goes up further, if there's any justice left in America, we'll find out. Because right now that was just a fucking, what Alex was calling a kangaroo court. They put it all together. They had everything airtight, so they knew how it was going to fucking come out,
right?
And it was going to be used for publicity and media fucking influence.
All the drones would go along. Oh, it's great.
All the fucking seals.
Yes, exactly. Now, the thing about that was in that whole conspiracy theory that he was talking about that got him in trouble, which we're not going to mention. I didn't buy into it just because it seemed easier to kill the kids.
Well, that's what I think is going on now with that North Carolina thing right now. It's just like, oh, what better way to try and sway some votes? Let's get some votes going by just having, pull the fucking MK Ultra kid out of the fucking basket.
Yeah.
Fucking push him out there with a gun. He
was a 15-year-old kid, right?
In North Carolina just a few days ago or yesterday. I think so. Yeah.
He shot up a downtown area.
Mm-hmm. But all these kids are fucking whacked out of their mind. You can tell just by their pictures. The one from fucking what we were talking about, Buffalo last year.
Oh, yeah.
Where he was being totally fucking groomed by the FBI.
Yep. And they're trying to make this happen. That's what it is.
Yeah.
I remember saying like in the 90s, the only way America's going to fall is either from terrorism or, civil war. And it seems like that's their agenda, right? Because they got to get rid of America to get a world government, and right?
Because America is just
we're super independent. That's what it comes down to.
We fought a war to leave the crown, just be like, no,
fuck you, Burger King.
We don't want to be under some monarchy that's like, oh, you are blessed or whatever. We have no say. You have all the say. It's like it was a brand new experiment in human fucking
that it was
culture.
That it was. Yep. Absolutely. And they did something in the Constitution that when the Queen died, I noticed some Americans were catching on to this. Right? So the Queen, she rules by divine right. That means that God made her queen.
Right.
I don't know how the fuck they prove that, but that's what the law is, right? So nobody can unmake her queen except herself or God. And the American founding fathers in the Constitution did the same thing with your civil rights. They said, these rights are yours. Nobody can take them away from you. We're not giving them to you because they're given to you by God.
Right.
So not even we could take them away from you, even though we wrote the fucking thing. And that was never happened before, where citizens were given divine right, like kings had.
Right. And that is what makes this country so special in the history of humanity. And all these people that have been subverted through whatever to hate this very, country they were born and raised in.
The best country on the face of the planet.
Well, that's to be friggin' debated, but for the most part, what's in ink says it is.
Yeah, I believe it.
Yeah.
Canada's close,
but but it's it's a hard I don't know, hard pill to swallow when you see people fucking that are benefiting from the very laws that these people put into place saying that they want to tear them down
Right.
and go to some fucking communism or something like that has never worked in the history of humanity.
Yeah, China. So far. Killed a lot of people, though.
Yeah, you want to say how it works. That's how it works.
That's how it works, yeah.
You want to, that's where they want to take us because they want the social credit score. They want to, I saw someone post a meme before. They were like, it was them putting in their card into one of the pay for something.
Mm-hmm.
And instead of being like, just put in your PIN, it says you have to delete all your social media before we can finish this. Finish this transaction.
Yeah, and people have been warning about electronic currency and the dangers of that. They could just shut you off whenever they want. Same thing with electric cars.
Yeah, they've been calling that the sign of the beast for a while.
A long time. Yeah. I saw a clip from a movie in the 80s this week where it's something like satanic meat, and the guy's talking about these infrared stamps that they're going to put on here that you'll need to trade with.
Right.
And it keeps all your information in the database. I'm like, they're fucking doing that. Those son of a bitches.
Yeah, there's people just doing it already because they think it's so convenient. I'm the cool fucking edgy person.
That's the fucking problem.
They're Muppets.
I had a buddy come over and he was
lemurs.
I had a dream about lemurs involved. But I had a buddy come over and he was complaining about fascism, and then he started talking about the three-way eventually at some point in the thing, and talking about how convenient it is. I'm like, dude, you wouldn't know fascism if it fucking hit you in the face. What are you talking about? It's so convenient with Easy Pass. That's the government making a symbiotic relationship with the private enterprise.
Yeah.
The key fucking component to fascism. What are you talking about? And, you can't get on the throughway now without going through Easy Pass, really.
No, you're going to get a picture taken of your license plate, and you're going to get mailed a bill.
Right. Now, that road's supposed to be free, too. It was supposed to be free by the fucking 70s. But anyway. And this just keeps happening. In the name of convenience, they're pushing fascism, or at least totalitarianism, right? But it's fascism because these are private enterprises. It's not socialism because socialism would be that there would be private enterprise and a government option. The problem with this government option, once the government goes into business, right, especially against private enterprises within its domain, they start passing laws that benefits them and not the private enterprise, and then it quickly becomes communism, right?
Yeah, it's slippery slopes everywhere.
Fucking slippery
everywhere.
Slope. Yeah. And, this bullshit with Ukraine, like, it's just not worth it, man. It's just not. Like, Russia is not going to back out of Ukraine. They're just not.
They are not going to let NATO become Ukraine become part of NATO. No. That's all there is to it.
And people are talking about bringing Ukraine in NATO. I'm like, Ukraine's at war. If we tell them, if you go to war, we'll back you up, and they're at war, it's like we're basically declaring war on Russia, right?
It's fucking stupid.
It's fucking dumb. And, people are talking about killing Putin and all this shit. I'm like, that's nuclear war, right? Because they're not going to put up with that. You just killed their leader. Like, I don't like Joe Biden, but I don't want to see fucking China come in here and wax him.
Yeah.
Right?
Exactly.
I think he's just trying to. They might even be doing us a favor by killing him, but I don't want to see some out. Let us do that. We'll take care of our own, And we're about to see. This is how I know they're not fucking around anymore, right? So, they're infantry, right? There are military, right? Is about half the size of the U.S., right? But they have more tanks than us. They got more ground vehicles, more armored vehicles, and the ground's about to get hard over there, right? And so we're about to see the largest mobilized fucking force ever assembled going into Ukraine, and been following this all week. The shipments, people. I don't know how they're getting this on the internet. Us at least. But they're taking pictures of trainfuls of tanks going by, right?
Wow.
Heading west towards Ukraine. This is another thing that's really fucking bothering me. Why is RT? Why can't I watch RT?
It's because they've been sanctioned.
Why? They're the press. They have RT America is an American business, and it's owned by Russians, sure, but we're an open and free market society, right?
We're not. We're in a technocracy right at the moment, I think.
Why can't I hear what the Russians have to say, right? It's like when
why can't fucking the news play like real news?
Right. I remember when Osama bin Laden in 9/11, right? All the news stations were saying like, oh, it's because he hates our freedom. A lot of politicians were saying, oh, he hates his freedom. And if you remember, Rand Paul stood up and said, I listened to him. Not once did he mention anything about our freedom. Right? Did you even listen to the guy? He doesn't hate our freedom. He mentioned a lot of other things he hated about us, but freedom wasn't one of them. Right?
We sure don't hear that now anymore.
And this is the same thing for RT. Now we can't hear what the Russians have to say. Right? We can't see any of the evidence that they may present to the world courts or anything like that. And it's censorship, right? For totalitarian control, right? They don't want you to have that viewpoint in your mind. They don't want you to hear any truths that Russia may bring, right? Because it can't all be a lie, right? There's over 100 million people in Russia. You think they're just all zombies going along? They also voted for this shit. People act like Putin unilaterally fucking did this.
Yeah, like Putin's got them all in prison.
Yeah, he's king of Russia.
No, they would love to see their nation restored to a larger fucking country.
Now, I don't find it so disturbing that the government did that, right? Because I could see what their motivation is. What bothers me is that people don't protest to it, don't even question it, that there's anything wrong with it, right? They just accept that, oh, we can't hear what the Russians have to say because they're going to lie to us. Like, the government's been protecting you the whole time. Like, there's never been false flags before to get us involved in the war, right? Remember in the Maine? That turned out to be fake, right? Lusitania, that was fake. The Fetterman letter, that was fake. Gulf of Tonkin, there was false information there, right? So almost every conflict we've been in the last over 150 years is based off of a false flag or misinformation that was handed to the people. And now they're limiting the amount of information we can get on the situation.
It's history repeating itself,
Right.
and we have just a bunch of bubble babies that cannot accept any type of news that is upsetting to them,
Contrary to their worldview or whatever.
It's not even yeah. I mean, I guess it's a defense mechanism, but it's also this fucking new, like, oh, everything's supposed to be about happiness fucking mantra that has been pushed over to social medias for the past 10 years. It's like, oh, just do what makes you happy. It's like, and ignore fucking shit that is real if it doesn't make you happy. Just ignore it. Just forget about it. Turn it off.
We're turning into North Koreans, just on a larger scale, right? Because you look at North Korea, those people are fucking brainwashed, right?
Yeah.
They're crying hysterically when their leader dies, right? They're,
Yeah.
Chris was telling me he saw something in China. Like there was all these videos in China about people flipping out when Nancy Pelosi landed in Taiwan.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, they were crying and breaking shit, right?
That's awesome.
Because the CCP said they were going to shoot them down. And they didn't, and they looked like clowns in front of the world fucking stage, but whatever. But it's that level of zealotness, right?
Yeah.
That is dangerous to a free and open society.
The Bears didn't win.
Our republic can't exist without the free flow of information, right? We can't make decisions without all of the information, right?
So you can make decisions, but you can't make fucking wise decisions.
Wise decisions, exactly.
Fully informed decisions.
Right, exactly. You can't make an informed decision when half of the dialogue is just deleted. Yeah. Oops.
So, we're going down that road. We got lots of people we knew in high school that are complete fucking Muppet brained.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And this is the shit. Like, remember, like, don't trust the government from the 70s, right?
I remember, like, half the people I see online now fucking being completely brainwashed were that way when they were fucking teenagers.
Right.
Not even teenagers, even when they were in their 20s and 30s, they like to question things. And now it's just like, because of Trump, they've been completely fucking brain erased.
That's it. They're still going on about
the TDS. The TDS.
Remember the slogan, kill your television, right? All that shit.
Yeah.
None of that's changed. All the reasons why those slogans came out are still there. It's just that, people for some reason think that things are more transparent now when they're not.
Completely not. No.
Right. It's like this Ukrainian war. These people who like tell me about how critical the environment is and we got to start fucking World War III at the same time. It's like those two ideas don't add up. World War III Newsflash.
Newsflash coming at you.
World War III is bad for the climate.
Fuck it. We're going to go do this live. We're doing it live.
Yeah. So I don't.
World War III is bad for the climate. You got that?
I know women who believe in karmic reincarnation and abortion, and I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Those two ideas don't add together, right? You can't spend your life, or other lives actually, right, building up your karma to get to a higher life form, like a human, and then as soon as you're conceived, you're fucking killed. So you're killing somebody who spent multiple lifetimes getting up to this karmic vibration, and you're just.
It's stupid.
It's stupid. I don't have any problem with either idea, debating either idea alone.
But don't be acting like you're some Buddhist and being like, oh, abortions are cool.
Yeah, when you add those two things
a fucking
together,
Buddhist won't kill a goddamn mosquito biting his balls.
right? When you add those two things together, it's just like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Like, and it's the population is so dumbed down, right? So I got in trouble on Facebook this week. I actually went on 2 days ago, right? And there was this ad by Josh Riley, right? Now he's running for a position in D.C., right? I think congressman, and he's running against Mark Molinaro, right? Is that his name?
I think is that Dutchess County?
He was in Dutchess County, right? I think.
Okay, but now he's trying to go to fucking.
He's going to D.C.
Okay, he's going to D.C.
Very important to know that he's running for federal Congress for New York in D.C. And they're going on about his abortion record, right? Which he never had a chance to vote on. It's just his opinions, right?
Okay.
And we can't trust him, right? We can't elect him because he's going to ban abortion in New York. And I'm just like, that's an Albany issue, and he's running to go to D.C. Do you not know how this works? Who writes this shit? Like,
dude, you know what I see? I see an ad because I'm in Green a lot, Green County. The ad I'm seeing for Molinaro is that he spent money on an SUV.
$80,000 on an SUV.
We can't trust him.
You can't trust him. What the fuck?
Taxpayer dollars on a. How about the fucking January 6th fucking hearings? I don't want to pay for that. How about fuck all of that?
Yeah. And the thing is, our last representative quit. He fucking quit to go become lieutenant governor to replace a criminal, an actual criminal who was charged.
He went to go replace that guy.
Yeah, for Hochul, right? So what do you mean we can't? We don't even have one right now. At least he'll fucking stay there. Hochul's not going to pick him. And that's another thing with they do the same shit with Lee Zeldin, right? Lee Zeldin's going to make abortion illegal in New York. Well, don't vote him in for legislator then. He's running for governor where he can't fucking do that. So what the fuck? It's like the purview has no consequence. There's no relevance of purview anymore. And I think this is why I don't like Fred Costello as the town supervisor of Sororities, right?
Okay.
Because he's got a weak stance against Russia and China. That's why I don't like him. And if we if we elect Fred Costello to the Sororities fucking town,
no way, bro.
China's gonna own Sororities. It's so fucking dumb and disingenuous. It's just like, what do you stand for? Stop telling me this bullshit. But people are so dumbed down that they think that, oh, this is relevant, right? Yeah. Mark Molinaro he's gonna ban abortion in New York, even though he's going to D.C. and the Supreme Court's already ruled that this is state by state. And then I had people argue with me, well, if he gets in, and the Republicans, they're just gonna ban it throughout the whole nation. No, because the Supreme Court just said no. That's not how that fucking works. It's state by state. They're not going to change their mind if the law flips the other way from Roe versus Wade.
You go, Barnes.
It's so fucking ridiculous.
All right, I got to fucking read you something here.
Love letter.
Oh, that's not it. Where is it? Oh, man. This is funny shit. So I get a... I get a text from Bernie. Hi, Brandon. It's Bernie. It's not easy taking on the corporate establishment, the political establishment, and the media establishment, but that's what we must do if we got to have any chance at creating a government that works for us all. In the weeks ahead, blah, 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 blah. It's this whole stupid fucking text. And I write back because he's asking for $15.
Fuck you.
I just wrote back, I donated to you already and you blew it by letting the DNC steal your nomination twice.
Twice, you jackass.
You and your party of emotionally ill elite snobs will win nothing this November.
That's awesome. Go back to battle, bro.
I almost called him emotional urine, but like that's Barnes' line.
It's fucking ridiculous, dude. So, Bernie, the media establishment, like every channel that fucking agrees with you, Bernie. What are you talking about? That's another example. Like, because if you turn on MSNBC or Bill Gates,
yeah, he's
TV,
fighting the establishment, my ass,
right? Because they all agree with him. They all give him coverage. They all.
That's what all these people on Facebook don't realize either. You're running hand in hand with the establishment. Yeah. Everybody's got the fucking flag, a rainbow flag posted all over everywhere, and everybody's got this and that all over everywhere. The microchip in the NPC brain, it's going in every fucking week.
Every week, yep.
And you're fucking buying into it. You are the establishment.
Yeah, your political views match up with Walmart.
Yeah, you big business, corporations.
The very thing you think you're against, you're backing because you have control of the media, with the exception of like Fox News, right? And if you actually get OAN, right?
Yeah,
not many people do. But all the other corporate media, it's all on the left, right?
Yeah. And all just like, it's just like fucking getting money shoveled in by big pharma, fucking
whatever, whoever's backing them.
Yeah,
you can tell who's backing them.
DNC, basically.
Right. That's like when they were telling me all the mainstream media, the Hunter Biden laptop is Russian disinformation, and I'm like, Russian disinformation starring Hunter Biden? I'm looking at it. They got him to cooperate? What the fuck? Like,
that's insane. Yeah, I didn't even think of it in that context.
Dude, it blew my mind that didn't make the news.
And then it got shut down by Dorsey and fucking Zuckerberg.
Massassi, whatever the fuck his name is.
They all shut it down.
Holy shit, man.
The fucking newspapers, the giant fucking, the old gray lady, they all fucking were like, oh, it's Russian disinformation. Just like when it was the fucking Trump thing, they're all like, 17 agencies said that it's fucking corroborated. And
yeah,
it's like,
they also said that about the Gulf of Tonkin. They also said that about the Maine. They also said that about the Lusitania. They also said that about the...
They're going to say what they want fucking you to hear.
Right. But this time, they're not lying to you. They've lied to you every other time, and you know it. But this time...
Oh, not this time.
Not this time. This time, they're telling us the truth.
This time, we're telling you the truth, brother.
Wake the fuck up, man. Don't trust anybody. Maybe your mom, your dad, right? Brother or sister. But beyond that, don't fucking trust anybody. You got a couple close friends or something.
Yeah.
So fucking ridiculous.
Oh, man. So anyways, yeah, these people that you once believed were intelligent, our peers and our old friends, have all been fucking eaten up and shat out by fucking Project Mockingbird.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. We've been totally subverted by the intelligence communities, by our enemies. Right?
By our own intelligence communities and the other intelligence communities.
Well, they all work together. They all got blackmail on each other.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Dude, that's right. I'm going to put this picture out of you fucking little kid. I mean, doing childish stuff with kid.
Oh, man.
And they're trying to normalize that, right? Now, like, it's just...
They want to put the P in the LGBTQ plus. They're trying to put the P in.
They are. They really are. It's so ridiculous.
I gotta show you something later. It's fucking hilarious. It's like Star Wars, but redubbed with like woke wars.
Yeah.
Holy shit! I'll show you later. It's fucking hilarious.
So, and this is why I like Tulsi Gabbard, right? Mm-hmm. I don't agree with everything she says, right? I don't agree with all her positions, but at least she's willing to deal in reality, right? Now, she's not becoming a Republican. She's just left the Democratic Party, right?
Right, yeah. But she's a Russian agent.
Somehow she's a native, right? Hawaiian, right? Mm-hmm. She's female. She's a veteran. She has all the boxes checked, right?
But she's Russian.
But she's Russian somehow, right?
Yep.
And it's like...
Well, she just proved it by leaving the Democratic Party. It's got to be for real now.
Well, that's it. If you'd say anything against the Democratic Party, there's no middle line, right? You're just a Russian agent. You're against America somehow.
Yep.
Even though they hate the country, whatever. Fucking. But there was one thing that she said, and I don't know if she said this on purpose, right? Because it was worded kind of.
I heard that. Yeah, you talking about the Hillary?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
If you go against Hillary, you're dead. But she said it like if you go against these mainstream, people,
Democrats,
who control the party, like Hillary,
you're dead.
You're dead. It seemed like she might have been adding two different thoughts, and maybe not.
I think she cleared it up right afterwards. She goes, "You're finished," or something like that.
Yeah. So I think she meant you're finished, but she said you're dead. If you go against Hillary, you're dead.
Oh, that was classic.
Now, remember when Hillary got a job at the White House, right? Bill gave her a job. Nobody had a problem with that, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
She got a job inside the Clinton fucking White House. And that, she was a family member, so she wasn't supposed to be doing that. But no one had nothing to say about that, right? Even though, like, that was obviously favoritism, right?
Yeah.
People just thought, oh, it's Hillary, she just got a job. Fuck it. I don't even want to get into it. Anyway.
You been following the Kerry Lake at all?
Yeah.
Arizona?
I mean, it's a joke, really. Is that woman, the other woman, what's her name?
The other woman's a joke.
Kathy Hobbs or something?
Something Hobbs, yeah.
She's a fucking idiot.
Wow. What a fucking moron.
This
is something I noticed, too, about the Democratic Party and how stupid their candidates are, is like every Republican's begging for a debate, but they won't debate him.
She won't debate him.
None of the Fetterman won't debate Dr. Oz, fucking this guy, Hobbs won't debate fucking Lake. Fucking AOC won't debate nobody. It's because they're all fucking morons.
We got good news on that, huh? Did you check the Project Veritas thing out that came out about Hobbs this week?
Yeah.
So basically, one of her staffers said, well, she's not going to debate because if she debates, she can only lose votes.
Right.
The people are going to vote for her just because she's Democrat and without knowing anything about her. Right.
But that sounds like most of the Democrats I know.
Right. And if she actually debates, she's going to lose a Democrat vote. She's not going to gain any.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why they're not debating. AOC
had no one show up to her meeting.
Nobody showed up. I've had more people show up for my rock band that sucked.
That was AOC going.
She had like 50, 60 people there tops.
Oh
right?
Man.
And she got shouted down, and they did it. They had a tactic. When one got taken out, they overwhelmed her.
The other one stepped up.
The other one stepped up and started bitching at her. And they're absolutely right. You can't be talking about the environment and all this other shit and voting for World War III at the same time.
Nope.
Those are contradictory things. The environment won't fucking matter if we get nuked, right?
Yeah, you cannot be voting for Ukraine war and say you care about the environment.
Your priority is
just
the
the way
environment. That's the top priority is the environment. No, you can't have it both ways. And she's in the Bronx, and the Bronx won't be there if there's a nuclear war. Newsflash again. Right, and don't listen to what the fucking New York City's telling you to do in the case of an event of a nuclear war. Don't just sit in the middle of your house and change your clothes. That's fucking dumb. It's radiation. It's going through everything. It's fucking minuscule. It's subatomic energy. It's moving at the speed of light. It's going through your fucking house. It's going right in the center of your house. It's getting you. You got to get the hell out of Dodge.
Yeah.
Or just not start World War III over Ukraine. I don't know.
Or if you're a Democrat, please just go sit in your house.
Right. Now, another thing that came out this week is, Biden went down there to Saudi Arabia, right? And it came out that he asked them not to do anything with the oil change until
quid pro quo Joe.
Blatantly out in the open, right? Don't do anything, please, until like the midterms because that'd be bad for us. And then when you don't do what we want, there's going to be consequences.
Yeah,
that's a quid pro quo.
Same exact thing they impeached Trump for.
Well, we got the phone call with fucking Biden quid pro quo in them, right? And you can't get people to listen to it. You can't get them to listen to it.
No.
It was on major news and fucking just swept underneath the rug. And these people are
quid pro Joe.
This was about maybe 2 months ago. I was so shocked, right, that story of Joe Biden on the phone with the president of Ukraine telling him not to ask Trump for money. This is after Trump was elected by Biden, still point man, vice president on Ukraine. Don't ask Trump for money, because if you ask him for money, he's going to look into where it's going, and that's how we're going to get caught, basically, is what he said.
Mm-hmm.
Now, they were going on about the January 6th thing and, the impeachment. I posted that, onto ABC because I hadn't seen them cover it yet, and it's been 6 months. And a buddy of mine stepped up and was like, yeah, but this is about da. I'm like, he's not president anymore. Trump isn't president. This guy's actually president, and we have the evidence, and you just refuse to look at it. Well, can't we both get both of them go to jail? Yeah, but you actually have to take steps to get the guy in office who's, he's going to war in Ukraine. His son has a job in Ukraine. I don't know if there's conflicts of interest there or not. No idea, right?
That makes it.
But if that was Trump's kid, you better fucking believe. If I was watching Trump's kid bang hookers every fucking weekend, more times than I can count.
Oh, it'd be friggin' Jesus Christ. You wouldn't be able to run from it. You wouldn't be able to run away from it.
It'd still be.
You go crawl under a fucking rock and you'd hear somebody coming at you. Oh, you fucking Trump's boys fucking banging Chinese spies.
Right. You'd still be hearing about it. He told some Russian hooker that his boss was the richest man in the world and the Chinese spy master. But you never hear that, even though it happened in reality. I could tell because I know the freckle on his penis, right? I could tell it happened in reality.
I saw him fucking weighing out his crack.
I've seen way too much of Hunter Biden. Anyway.
I've seen way too much of that fool.
And some of the shit that this guy's, the text he's made to his niece, giving her cocaine, talking sexually with her.
He calls his dad, what, Pedo Peter?
Pedo Peter, yeah. And none of this is in the news, right? And if you bring it up, you get shouted down. It's fake news.
Yeah.
Even if you have the evidence right before, and it reminds me exactly what Yuri Bezmenov was saying. You could present them with hard proof evidence, and they won't be able to accept it. They just won't be able to say. I could sit here and say Trump is probably a scumbag, right? Probably belongs in jail. He's probably done some fucked up thing. The guy's orange. But if you say, hey, here's all the evidence against Joe Biden, nah.
Nothing. He's
a saint. Nah, he lost his wife in a car crash. He's a saint. It's like
couldn't even remember his son, where his son died.
He died in Iraq, man. And fighting the fucking
fighting the oil wars.
This guy's been charged with he's copied people. What the hell is that called?
Plagiarism.
Plagiarism, right?
He's a plagiarist.
He's literally been convicted of that.
He's gonna start plagiarizing himself.
He's admitted to it, and still no, he's not a plagiarist. He doesn't do that. And this is another thing, like the Build Back Better.
He was sniffing some people the other day.
Yeah, the Build Back Better
sniffs.
Thing. Now, I don't speak German or Dutch, or I speak a little bit of French, right? But I don't speak Japanese. Why are they all using the same term all across the world? We got to build back better.
Yeah.
How could that be? How could all these leaders from across the Western world suddenly decide, how do we say this? There's only one way to say it, build back better. Like, how did they all decide that? Like, it sounds like a conspiracy to me. It sounds like there was some collusion, right, between these leaders.
Why would they all be saying the same thing?
Right. Yeah. Like, if two people see the same thing, right, witness the same event, and I ask them what they saw, they're going to tell me completely different things. Maybe not completely different, but they're going to describe it right?
differently.
Right. How are all these people using the same exact adjectives?
So you're saying, I haven't seen this, but you're saying like around the world leaders in their languages are saying build back better.
Right. You can hear it in English too, right? They've said it in Australia and New Zealand. But how did they all decide that this was the phrase that they were going to use? Like, who?
They've got their talking points from the WEF, maybe,
that's it, man.
Or George Soros.
And that's what this all comes back to. How much power does the central banks have? They have a lot of power, right? And you got Russia, you got China, you got India, who's backstabbing us, South Africa, Brazil, all decided that, you know what, fuck you central banks, fuck you Rothschilds, and your fucking debit fiat money currency.
Yeah.
We're going to come out with gold. And
well, I think that's, what's going on with this whole Ukraine thing, and whether it's all part of the plan. You could say it's just, all fucking theater. And the result's going to be the result. But as far as they're setting it up to what it is supposed to look like, it's supposed to look like Putin is fighting against fucking the world order.
Right. And he is, actually. I'm not going to deny that, because we've been the lone superpower since the 90s, right? And China's emerging, right? Russia's emerging again. And so it's going to be a multipolar world again, We're not going to just have one world government and that's it, right? Because to set up a world government, you have to win a couple world wars beforehand, which we happen.
Well, the other thing I thought about was this, too, is when people are talking about world governments, and I've said this for a long time, it's like, all right, well, whose rules is the world going to live under?
Right.
If it's one world government, whose rules is the world going to live under? And that's exactly what's happening right now.
Absolutely.
We're fighting over whose rules do people want to live under.
Absolutely. Right. And the American way of life is contrary to the world's fucking views, right? Of how they live, right? We live differently. And if I got to choose, like, either my neighbor dying or somebody across the world that I don't know, unfortunately, for the person across the world that I don't know, I'm going to choose them, right? I don't want my neighbor.
Yeah.
I don't want my neighbor to die, all right? I want somebody I don't know to die, right? If someone's got to die, it might as well be somebody that I don't know.
But it's also like there's a compromise happening where they're like, well, you got to take some of your rights away from your country if you want to be part of this world.
Yeah, I don't want to be part of this world government. So.
Exactly. That's what's happening with the corporations coming in, becoming more powerful. Is they're like, well, if we're going to do this thing, we're going to need to get everybody on the same page.
Right. I don't even...
they all need to just eat bugs.
Right.
Live in pods.
You know, there's societies that are very similar to the United States society, or maybe are part of the same society, depending how you view it. But nations like Canada, New Zealand, right, Australia, even Ireland to a certain extent, they have a lot in common with the United States, right? They all broke off in their own different ways from UK, right? They all have English as a prominent language. They're all Western societies. I don't want to live like those people. I think they're great people. I don't have anything against the Canadians or New Zealanders or Australians, right? But I don't want to live underneath their laws, right?
Right.
I want to live under our laws that we have here, right? And that doesn't mean I want to repress anybody or think less than anybody. And then it's actually the opposite. I don't want to think anything about their identity at all. You know?
Yeah, exactly.
You know, just don't want to think about it. Just don't think that should be a non-factor, right? And that's how I treat people. And, you know, I am a Christian, right? So we're all children of God in my eyes. You know, God made us all. God didn't make me better than you or you better than me, and nothing. You know, we're all equal in His eyes, right? And that's how I treat people. You know, now a lot of people, especially Christians, right? That's not something I talk about very much, right? You've known me for fucking 30 years. How often do I talk about Christianity?
Every day. No.
Never. Like
never.
Unless you really knew me, you wouldn't even know that I was Christian,
right?
That I had these views. And you know, I think that's the way to view it, right? I think that, hey, everyone has the equal right to live. Everyone has the equal right to pursue happiness in their own way. Right? It may not be for me, right? But I'm not going to go out of my way to chastise them because I'm not supposed to judge, right? Because I'm a Christian, and so, and I can take all the slings and arrows you want to say about Christianity. You know, it's any criticism you have, I'll listen to it. You know, I may even agree with you, but that's not going to stop me from living my life, right? Failing to try to be like Christ, and that's another thing about Christianity. You're taking on the task that you know you're going to fail at. I know I'm not going to be like Jesus. I'm lucky if I even get into fucking purgatory, never mind heaven, right? But I'm not going to push my views on you, right? I may vote how I want to vote, right? But I'm not going to go out and, like, you know, chastise somebody who's already having a hard time because they're doing something that I don't like or don't agree with, right? I don't necessarily agree with the homosexual lifestyle. It's not for me. It's not something I want to participate in. That doesn't mean I can't be friends with a homosexual. I can't even love like a homosexual in a strictly platonic manner, right? I mean, I got a gay cousin. I love him, right? He's my cousin. I'm fucking my cousin. Yeah, I know he's gay.
Yeah.
Whatever. So what?
Yeah.
I don't agree with that aspect of his life, but he's
as
free
long
to
as they ain't trying to friggin' bring it into your bedroom, it don't matter.
It don't matter, right? And I'll help him in any way I can to make him happy, right? As long as he doesn't ask me to suck a dick or something. Well, that's what
so eloquent.
That's how it comes down to, and so, you know, it's I guess it's classic liberalism, right?
Yeah,
I
would guess it is. Yeah, I would say it is, and I know there's a lot of people turning on to that nowadays, especially with independent media and the internet, which they're trying to, obviously ban everybody off of for
yeah.
talking about stuff,
Your account
and
shut
opening up people's minds and just being able to say, hey, let's just talk and talk it through, and just, you know what, maybe I'm right, maybe I'm wrong, but you know what, we're talking. And you don't see that happening on the left as much as you do in the middle and the right.
You can't do it on the left. You absolutely cannot.
Because you're an outsider, and then you're
a bigot, you're a racist,
you're just like something. You're not part of the fuck. I mean, they hate religion so much they don't even realize like they are into a cult that is like a.
But they'll call us a cult, right?
I mean, that's their favorite thing is to call the Trump people and anybody that's not a Democrat. Oh, they're in the cult. It's like, oh, just because they're not with you, they're in the cult.
Right.
That means you actually are in the cult.
Right. Exactly. That means you're in the cult. If you can't see outside of that, right? If that is your primary worldview, what the cult believes, and you can't see outside of it, you're in one.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
I mean, you can see like the one, the lefty Vosh there. I forget what his name is, what the whole thing is, but he's like a big prominent lefty. And he's a pretty intelligent kid, but, at least that motherfucker knows that it can't be, like, you can't be stuck in your bubble.
No, you can't have
He's at least willing to go out and defend his fucking, his views instead of being like, oh, you got different views, I can't talk to you.
Right, and you should be able to defend your views.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I don't fear any of these conversations, because I can articulate my views, right? And I've thought them through, and they become principles, right? It's just something that I do all the time. That's another thing on the left. I see less principles, right? Because things change very quickly.
They've changed so quickly in the last 5 to 10 years where it's like everybody's principles have went the fuck out the window.
If they have any, right?
Well, if they had any to begin with, I guess is the question. But now it's like they feel like, mental illness is a fucking virtue.
Right. They do. They absolutely do.
Yeah.
Right?
And
it's become trendy.
Mm-hmm.
There was some girl on TikTok I saw caught some slack because she was obviously pretending to be mentally ill.
Yeah.
And some guy that I can't remember who analyzed it, but I was watching an analyze on it. And he asked the person for their viewer information. So they sent them a screenshot. And people that were younger, it seemed to buy into it more, believe it, and older people were just like, "What the fuck is this?" And I think that's another ageism, is another divide that we're feeling heavier than our grandparents did, right? Or even our great grandparents who lived through like the
because it changed so fast.
It changed so fast.
Yeah.
Right. And they lived, my great grandparents, right, probably lived through the invention of the car and the airplane, right?
And then when it came to like you being a kid in the 80s, and your granddad, and it was just like, yeah, okay, this ain't fucking being a man, but it wasn't so far beyond like you're gonna fucking start cross dressing and fucking
right. I was no,
being like
doing that shit.
I gotta go get my ding chopped off, Papa.
when my grandfather was alive, I wouldn't do anything that would bring shame to him. Nothing.
Right.
Nothing that would shame him. Nothing that.
But that's what I'm saying. It's changed so fast now. The kids have no respect for the parents. So
right.
And the parents think they should live for their children instead of fucking teach them and smack them around a little bit and be like, fucking straighten up.
Well, that's like be friends with your kids thing. That started in the 70s.
That's right. Be friends with your kids.
That's gone out of control now because you got to be a parent because they're a fucking kid and they don't know anything. Right? Man, you were a kid. Teenager. I'm assuming it's all adults here.
There ain't nobody
here. Ain't nobody here.
We've been neglecting our audience, so we're at 0.
Right. But when I was a teenager, I thought I knew everything, right? And I was fucking dumb.
I did know everything.
I should have got out then. I should have went out into the world then when I was 13. But like you think you know a lot more, you got the world more figured out. It's a lot simpler, right? Things don't bother you as much.
Well, you have a simpler mind, so it makes easier sense.
And here's something, right? So like when I was 20 years old, I had a $300 car. I didn't mind driving it, fucking 2,000 miles.
Yeah.
All right. But now that I got a $10,000 car and I'm 48, I'm like, fuck, I don't even want to go down the next road. Something might happen. I'm gonna have to fix the car. That's gonna cost me money. Fucking shit.
Right. So yeah, it changes with your age.
Right. So,
but now the kids are completely different.
Right. Now, mental illness being trendy is not a good thing. mental illness is not a good thing, right? It's not a unique perspective, even though they may have a somewhat unique perspective. But if everybody's fucking mentally ill, it can't be unique, right?
That's true.
So,
that's the same thing as like the tattoo phenomena.
yeah, we saw that. I still don't get it.
I mean, I ain't got anything wrong with people that were like tattoo people. It's just like all of a sudden now. I mean, everybody's got them, so it's like it's not unique anymore.
Right. It's like, oh, did you kill somebody in prison? No, I just went down to the road here. And fucking, what are you talking about? Well, you got that spider web thing. That man killed somebody in prison. No.
The same thing happened with piercings. Oh, the whole counterculture thing became so over the top now. It's like, having candy cotton hair isn't fucking unique. You're just a fucking jerk.
It's now. Yes. I got into this the other day.
Now you're just a fucking idiot.
I got into a discussion with my friend the other day, client, I guess you could say, and I was talking about profile, right, of certain individuals with certain sexual preferences, right? And one of the things I cited was the multicolored hair.
Okay.
And they're a person that dyes their hair from time to time. They're not like that in any other way. But they took a lot of offense to that, and then it was, turned into a heated discussion.
They got emotional.
Right.
They got emotional.
And it's like, all right, so let's just say I hung out with.
What is this?
Pat.
Oh, man.
Let's just say I hung out with fucking
You hung out with
criminals all day, right?
Okay.
Everyone I hung out with is a murderer. Does that make me a murderer? Not necessarily. Does it raise your suspicion that I might be a murderer? It should.
Right.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
So if everybody not everybody, but if the vast majority of people who are engaging in this activity have multicolored hair, and you have multicolored hair, that doesn't make you engage in that activity, but it does make a correlation between the two.
People, it's called. I mean, a lot of people want to say it's fucking stereotyping.
It is.
That's a classic word for that thing, but it's also they're like, don't judge me, and it's like, well, you're giving me information,
right? And
then I'm gonna fucking analyze that information.
Right. Now it's like saying, like, the way I did the analogy I did is if I see somebody running, I assume they can crawl, right? I don't know that they can crawl, right? But if they're running, I can assume that they can crawl, right? So if I see somebody with somebody who's willing to dye their hair, right? How do I say this? If you're willing to chop off your penis, you're probably willing to dye your hair, right? If you're into body modification, right? Is that wrong to say? If you're willing to chop it off, right? Skim it.
Well,
right?
It's a far reach. It's a good far generalization, but it's
there's a correlation between the two.
You can make a correlation
because one's this one type of modification, the body modification, changing the color of your hair. Another one's more extreme, right? But if you're going to chop off the unit, you're probably willing to dye your hair, right? I mean, that's not much of a stretch.
That reminds me of an old Norm Macdonald joke.
God rest his soul.
God rest his soul. I couldn't even tell it because maybe I'll bring it on next week or something. It's fucking hilarious. But I can see where you're going with that there. Yeah. But the colored hair thing, I think, is more of a sign to me personally of well, not only is it like the bisexual or like hypersexual, but it's also
shopping,
it's also like it's it's metamorphosized like from back in the punk days into this. It was this, I'm a unique person.
Right.
I'm fucking not mainstream. And now it's like there's so many people who want to be not fucking mainstream that they've fucking all dyed their hair fucking pink and purple and green and double different shades of whatever, cotton candy heads, and they still think they're being original.
Right, they still think they're being original. That's the same mentality that we're against the media, corporate media, but they all agree with us, right?
Yeah,
except Fox News.
Right. Yeah, and it's also, I've noticed. I mean, this is another, you could say, judgment, but it's just an analysis of my visual spectrum. The data I get is that it seems to be a lot of females or women, or maybe they're not. I don't know. They could be identifying as anything, but they're a bit overweight as well.
Yeah, that's gone up in our lifetime somehow.
Across the board.
Across the board, yes.
But for some reason,
I don't know.
it's like them trying to sex themselves up a little bit. I think.
Yeah. I mean, that's totally legit.
It's called peacocking, I believe.
Yes.
You're trying to make yourself more visually interesting, and it has to do maybe a little bit with because they don't feel like they have the fucking whatever Playboy bunny body, or they don't have the traditional female sexiness. So it's like, let's just get some bedazzle fucking on my head.
Sure, absolutely. Make myself stand out some way.
Yeah,
right.
Which is nothing wrong with that.
No, there's nothing wrong.
But
with
I would say that might be part of the fashion trend as well.
It is a need for attention, though, right? It's trying to serve a need for attention, which I've been guilty of in my life, right?
Yeah.
So
we all do.
Yeah, it's not the worst sin in the world, but it is a motivation, right? I would totally agree with that. Yeah, I mean, and you could see that in people that are on the market, say, dating.
Yes.
And people that are married, right? There's a stereotype about people who get married and they let themselves go, right? Because they're not trying to attract mates anymore. It's simple.
Mm-hmm.
It's not complicated.
It's not that complicated.
No.
It's just and I think like that once it got more and more normalized, the candy color hair thing just got the fuck out of control.
It's out of control now, right?
Yeah.
It's like a virtual signal almost, right?
It has become that too, where it's just kind of weird, where it became just like, well, if you see me with my colored hair, that means I'm going to vote for Hillary or whatever.
So I was telling some kids about how I like doggy style this week, and they were like 9. And, they all agreed it was great. I felt good.
You must have been teaching.
Yeah, I was teaching. What the fuck is going on in the education department? Why is there? I could watch videos of teachers
endlessly
for the next 5-6 days nonstop
of trying to tell how they're going to groom kids.
Yes. Mm-hmm. What the fuck is going on? Why do you need that kind of affirmation from children? Like,
because you're a fucking loser.
Yeah. I don't listen to anything kids. I don't criticize kids very often, right?
I beat them. No.
I smack them up, give them a look.
I make them tough. I beat the hell out of them. The crap out of them.
I don't pay attention to kids, right? Unless
I don't
to,
know any kids other than nephews and nieces, and they're all mostly grown up.
And if I see a kid out in public or whatever who's doing something wrong that may be dangerous, I'll stop him or say a word to him.
Yeah.
But beyond that, I don't want to be involved, right? They could be doing something good, something bad. Either way, I'm not going to pay them much attention because they're a child. I'm not going to judge them for the rest of their lives.
If they're doing something bad, I think that's cool.
Yeah.
You get them. Stick it to the man, kid.
Yeah, but the thing is, it's like, they're kids, and I accept them as kids.
They're learning.
Right, and therefore, anything they say or do is a part of the learning process.
They're forming their reality.
Right. It's part of the learning process, and I don't take it that seriously.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah, it's they don't identify as a dinosaur. Don't raise them as a dinosaur.
Right. Exactly. Well, it's like you see these interviews with these trans kids, and the mother is like, mouthing what the kid's supposed to say in the interview. It's like,
it's fucked up.
It's child abuse.
Yep. I forget which hospital it was. They posted a video and they took it down, I guess, within minutes. It was like babies can identify whatever as trans in the womb.
That's ridiculous. They
Well,
don't even
you know
the
why they took
concept.
it down? Because, well, if they can identify in the womb, then how can you have an abortion?
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
That makes sense. Oh, yeah, because they already got opinions and shit.
They already have an opinion in the
In
womb.
the womb about things they don't even know about.
So people are fucked in the brain.
Things they've never been exposed to. Things that definitely isn't in the heretical genes because it's just started, right? It hasn't had enough time to really adjust, right?
Yeah. So that was a big, not a big news story, small news story, but it was a funny one because they must have been thinking they were so fucking smart putting that out. Like, they already know that they're not what they, identify as in the womb. And then somebody pointed it out to them. Wait a second. If they can think that in the womb, then
how do you support abortion?
How do you support abortion? They must be life.
They must be alive, right? They have opinions and stuff. All right. They're recognizing their physical form even though they've never seen it or they don't even know what it is. Yeah, that's ridiculous. Fucking so ridiculous.
Did chickens commit suicide?
It's fucking
Chickens?
From what is a woman?
Oh, yeah.
A woman goes, chickens commit suicide? They have gender dysidentity? What the fuck are you talking about? They're chickens.
What is a woman? I gotta watch that again.
Oh, it's good. I love Matt Walsh. He cracks me up.
Oh, did you see his non-apology this week?
No,
people are trying to cancel him, and he like issued his non-apology.
No,
it was just funny.
The only thing I saw from what is that? The Daily Wire? Is that what he's part of, right?
Yes.
The only thing I saw was Ben Shapiro wants you to know that what Kanye West said was anti-Semitic because that's what it was. It was just anti-Semitic, and I think what he said was he must have said it 1,000 fucking times. All right, Ben Shapiro, we get it. Do you think what Kanye said was anti-Semitic? Go home and cry about it. What the fuck, Ben?
Yeah, Ben. Out of all the friggin' rational thinking you do,
you blew a gasket on that.
You friggin' got your trigger fucking
he got
gripped, gripped and pulled.
Totally. He wasn't talking about Ben Shapiro, right? He was talking about specific people inside of a specific industry in a specific town, right? That Ben Shapiro doesn't live in, and he's got an association through belief systems, right? And maybe possibly genealogy, depending how you view Judaism, I guess. And he blew a gasket over Kanye saying that this week. And now, that's something that if you're straight, white, Christian, it's every day. It's just every day someone's saying some shit about your identity. Every day.
Yeah. I don't think of it like that.
And he gets one thing from Kanye West, somebody who nobody really takes that seriously anyway, right?
I don't think so. I think everybody feels kind of that he has a mental illness or they feel sad for him in some way. Like he's been, he's definitely got some fucking short circuit going on. That's what makes him supposedly a brilliant artist and whatnot. But I think most people feel like, oh yeah, something's not right with that guy.
Yeah,
for the most part. It's like, why take him serious?
Why take him that seriously, right?
Yeah.
And why make that much of a stink about it? Why you have to repeat it fucking 30 times inside of 2 minutes?
I didn't see that clip, but I did see it. I saw it cut out where every time he said it, and I noticed it was like 15, 20 times.
Yeah, inside a few minutes, and it's
Jim Acosta's going to get fired from CNN?
Hopefully, yeah.
I hope so.
They're clearing house over there because something's not working because nobody believes them any fucking more. Right? Hope they've lost Cuomo in the last year or two, right? Little Brian Potato Head's fucking seltzer. Mark Dice gave him that voice. Thanks to Mark Dice for that.
What's going wrong in our country?
I remember when Mark Dice first started out, he would actually reply to me because I thought I didn't get what he was doing. And I just thought these people were just like, how the fuck are you that stupid where you don't know shit about the United States? Like, how many stars are on the flag?
You got Mark to reply to you a few times?
This was like 10 years ago.
That's awesome, though. Yeah, that's cool.
And I didn't, I even disagreed with him sometimes. But we both had this thing where, I couldn't believe how uneducated people were about their own country.
Dude, he's still doing it to this day.
Still doing it.
Going out there and being like, Chris Pratt killed a Tyrannosaurus Rex. What do you think about that? And they're like, I think it's horrible.
There is no Tyrannosaurus Rex.
You fucking muppet.
And I counter shit like that. Right? When people talk shit about Puerto Rico, I kind of take it offensive because that's my country, right? Those are American citizens we're talking about. I want them to be a state someday. Right? Hopefully that things go along in normal progression.
Jennifer Lopez from Puerto Rico? Where is she? Descent, I think.
I think she's from Brooklyn. I just found out that Jennifer Connelly's from Cairo.
No.
Yeah.
Get out of here.
She was born in Cairo.
Did she go to the school up there? Or?
I don't know. Chris told me this week. I looked it up on Wikipedia and sure as shit, she's
That's
from Cairo.
insane.
Yeah, it is insane. I didn't know that.
She got any blood up there that look as good as her?
I don't know. I don't know.
Go look around.
Go check it out, Hero.
Go check it out, man. I
mean, most people I knew from Cairo was either from like,
my damn cousin.
well, either from Noel, right, or fucking summer school.
It sucks that Noel can't watch this show because
he'll lose a fit, fucking blow a fit.
Maybe poop himself.
I don't know what's going on because we don't really say anything that controversial.
Oh well, most everything we say is not, it's talking about Biden, and Trump. It's just
I
enough.
hope Biden does well. I don't like him, but I hope he does well.
Yeah, I mean, I wish he wasn't so friggin'. He didn't poop himself in his pants.
I wish he wasn't compromised by China and Ukraine, but okay. Still,
that's enough right there. That's enough to get one of my favorite cousins not to watch.
But I'm not going to unlive that reality I saw in the Hunter Biden videos. That
I know.
Just to please somebody, right?
I know. It sucks. But the point being is, like, I still love hanging out with him, and don't do it that often. But the political stuff is like so forefront on everybody's mind now because of social media and whatnot. That is really the issue, I think. Like what brought a lot of this to the head was the social media, being able to talk with everybody, and then the algorithms taking control and fucking warping people's minds.
Algorithm. YouTube algorithm.
We need to like pray to the other algorithm. There's the evil one that's out there now. The good one's like got to come up and start fighting.
Good algorithm, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's Elon Musk and this Twitter shit. I'll buy Twitter. Nah.
Yeah, it just keeps going back and forth.
You can't have Twitter.
I'll buy it now. Well, now we don't want to sell it.
Yeah. And then the public's like, wait a second. Yeah, we do.
Yeah.
Shareholders like, yeah, we do. What are you talking about?
Mm-hmm.
It's fucking insane, right?
And then he just lopped off the fucking Skynet to fucking Ukraine.
Only Eastern Ukraine.
Yeah. Well, they were all telling him to go fuck himself earlier in the week.
Right.
So he's just like, oh, how about this?
I'm sure he does business in Russia too. So, I mean, it might be a business deal for him. But he did it for free for a while. Right?
Yeah.
And nobody else did shit. So good for Elon. He gave him some free time. Good for you.
I could use free internet.
Yeah, freedom. True freedom.
So what else is in the news?
And this bullshit about the internet being a human right. No, it's not. It's not a human right. You get the right to breathe, right?
You get the right to collect rainwater, but that's not even
a human right anymore.
Yeah.
Not in this state.
Start a fire, you can't do that.
Not in this state.
It's insane, man. It's insane how many rights they can just be like, you know what? We're not going to let you do that because the insurance companies.
Right. The insurance companies are the truth tellers, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you start talking about you want to get life insurance, right? But you're a trans person, you're a trans woman. You're getting life insurance like you're a dude, right? You're still gonna die earlier than women do, on average, right? It's like you go to buy a house on the shore. Doesn't matter how much climate crisis bullshit's going on. The bank's still gonna give you a loan. They're still gonna insure it from flooding. Why? Why are the richest people in charge of the richest organizations not adhering to any of this shit? Right? Why are they getting away with not believing that they're women, right? Why are they getting away with being climate deniers? It's fucking weird, man.
Rules for thee and not for me.
Right. I mean, why would an insurance company give you flood insurance when you buy a house on the shore, right? If they know that the sea level is going to rise.
And you're going to get flooded.
Right. I don't know if they moved Plymouth Rock in the last 10 years, but it's still visible. I don't fucking know. It's in a cage, right? I don't know how they could move.
They caged Plymouth Rock.
It's still visible, though. I mean, it's been there since, whenever they decided that was the rock.
Well, the thing I
don't know how they know which rock was which rock, but whatever.
I have been seeing a lot more scientists step up and say that there is no climate change. I thought that was kind of interesting. A lot more scientists that are like,
well, yeah.
You guys are just looking at it the wrong fucking way. They're like,
sure.
You're looking at it on this fucking macro level, when if you step back and you look at ice ages and whatnot, we're just doing normal fluctuations.
We're still coming out of an ice age, really. It wasn't that long ago. I mean, I wasn't alive for it, but 150 years ago, the last one ended.
It's just a great way to fucking allow corporations to seize, just to charge you more for stuff like water and fucking breathing air.
Absolutely. They're bottling water and charging you for it.
And it's going to be soon. Well, maybe not anytime soon. It was on trajectory to be more than gasoline, water.
Right. Soon they're going to start selling you air, right? Like
they already do in Japan.
Do they?
You can buy clean air in like a can, open it up, and be like,
oh my God.
I was thinking about starting to sell some of that.
Bottled air.
And now, just bottle it here in America and send it over there, and I'm pretty sure you could do it.
Oh, it's cleaner air here for sure. Here's how I feel about the climate, right? And man's involvement. All right, so my room gets messy because I mess it, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'll clean it, right? Because I don't like it. I'm not going to kill myself to clean the fucking room, though. I'm not going to become a slave to cleaning the fucking room. I'll clean it up. I'll make sure that it's maintainable, but it's not going to become my life. I'm not going to change my entire life just to clean my fucking room. And I think that, we have an impact in the environment. I'm not willing to die over it, though, right? If I got to starve to make the environment better, no. How about no? How about no? Right? If I got to change my whole entire life and not have any quality of life, like basically be a person that's on fucking life support just to fix the environment, then no. And the reason why that is because I can't control China. This is something the leftist doesn't understand.
China don't give a fuck about.
Well, they don't understand sovereignty at all.
No,
right?
no.
And so I can't force China
or Mongolia,
who are big polluters, right?
Huge.
And if it's a global problem,
India,
it's going to affect me exactly. So I can't force them to follow these laws, right? Because they have their own sovereignty. And in order for
you're just going to sit over here eating bugs, waiting for them to choke you out.
I say we steal all the beef, let them eat the fucking bugs. They got to cross 2 oceans to get over here. Fuck them. The 2 biggest oceans in the world, they got to cross. Fuck them.
Yep, bring it on.
Bring it on. There's less of us over here in the Western Hemisphere, especially if you're in South America.
Well, we went over those stats about putting the human population into New York City.
Yes.
A few weeks ago.
Right.
So it's like, how the fuck can that be?
I looked into that, and that's true. You could fit every human on the planet in LA County. It'd be shoulder to shoulder,
but that's insane.
That's insane how little body mass we have. And we actually, despite what you think, right? You would think that like humans would be one of the animals that have the most body mass on the planet, but we're not.
Right.
Ants have more body mass than us. There's more pounds of ants than there is in humans.
Wow. Holy shit. Who would have thought? Well, we're getting close here to our normal show time.
Yeah, we're getting close to getting cut off here.
I was going to ask you what you got sitting up in the front here.
All right, let me show this little show and tell here. Huh?
Yeah, that thing looks mighty cool.
Thank you.
Maybe I should I grab the camera?
Yeah, grab the camera. Yeah, bring it on over.
Let's bring the camera over.
Some work I completed this week. It's it's my first miniature building build, and let's see if we get some light on it over here. So this is basically what I do with my free time here. Yeah. Here, I'll bring it over to the camera. And so all it is this little gaming house, right? And it's made of plaster, right? Little door moves.
Looks amazing.
Thank you. It's got this little bridge here, or a little porch I made. Can't really see the porch. It goes that way. All right, yeah. But
nice textures.
Thank you.
Holy shit! Top comes up.
Oh yeah, it's got a fireplace. I'm gonna put some furniture in this week, maybe.
What material?
It's plaster Paris, right?
Damn.
And you can rent this for $300 a month, and everything's included, you know. But yeah, this took me about 2 weeks to make, really. And I have a problem with buildings because they have to be so precise for whatever reason. I'm a lot better at like making like cliffs and jungles and stuff. But this is my first building from plaster, and I was pretty happy with it.
It looks amazing.
Thank you. Took quite a while, you know.
Is it like would you say a shop?
Yeah. I've been calling it the Dragon Inn, but
Can you get some ale there?
yeah.
Nice.
I'm gonna put a little bar in eventually. And you know, you would use this in like Warhammer, right? Dungeons and Dragons or Pathfinder or any of like the war games, right? They're all about 28 meter scale or 1/60th scale, which means that 5 feet equals 1 inch, right?
Let's take a look at them windows again.
I didn't put any windows in. I decided that would be overkill.
But I'm just talking about the nice brick and the shutters.
Oh, thanks, man. Yeah, the shutters I did.
You got a little detail on the chimney up there as well, I see.
Yeah, I had to try to figure out a way to make that brick contrast with the other stone. And it's supposed to be granite. I'm trying to match up stones.
Yeah.
So these would be really big blocks of stone.
And then you got some really nice tile work here on the.
Thanks. Yeah. Now I did these all from castings, right?
Okay.
So some of it is sculpted in, right? I use a lot of I've come to use I don't know what they're called exactly, but you use them for your nails. They come in like nail care kits, and they're great for sculpting, right? There's a lot of great tools in those kits for sculpting. And this week I'll probably make a little sign out here, you know, come up with a business name, put a little sign hanging from it.
Just dragging in.
Maybe I'll put some horse ties around the building or something. You know, that's where they would tie the horses up.
Nice.
Yeah. So I figured I'd bring this in to show people.
Yeah, I think that's fucking a good thing. We need more show and tell. That
Right.
thing's spectacular.
This was small enough that I can carry it. Like the cavern system I have is a big box and it's not quite done yet, but that would take a whole layout, right?
We need to just lay it out, do some things, and shoot it.
Yeah. So I'll be making more buildings from here on in. If you're interested, let me know. I don't know how the hell I'm going to sell these because
Yeah, if Barney can make you one for your Warhammer campaign, contact him at
or Dungeons and Dragons, Pathfinder, or
anything.
Cyberpunk. Yeah.
Oh, you do cyberpunk stuff?
I can, yeah, sure. It's actually future stuff's a little bit easier, right? Because there's a lot of manufactured junk around that you could just easily reimagine into something else.
Right, just glue it on there.
Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean that's how they did all of Star Wars ships, right? It was just shit pushed.
Reuse little models.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I have a ton of that shit, you know.
Cyber. I remember what was the old one? Cyberpunk.
Yeah.
Was that the original one? Way back in the day?
It's from the 80s.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember you had a couple of those books.
Yeah, cyberpunk books. What was the other one? I can't remember. There was 2 of them. I ended up talking to a lot of those authors on Facebook when it first started.
Well, maybe you can find them on Rumble now.
Actually, I talked to what the hell is it? Sperling, right? I can't remember his first name. He wrote a book with William Gibson.
Ron Sterling?
Ron Sterling, right?
Yeah. That was the something machine, the
difference
engine?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And found out that he's, you know, it's somewhat local. He lives down in Jersey or whatever. Writes for the New York Times, doing tech reviews.
No more novels?
No more novels, but he's a fucking lunatic.
Huh.
Politically, he's a lunatic. And I was just like, I can't talk to this dude anymore. He's a fucking idiot.
You mean he went like that way, lunatic? Like,
Oh, yeah, yeah. Same thing with Dave Ambrusi from Pearl Jam, right, the drummer, the original drummer. I used to talk to him, you know, about music and shit, and somewhere along the line, he just became a lunatic. And now he's like coming back the other way, I see. But I don't think they realize that this is what the right's been saying all along, right? That suddenly it's like their idea, you know?
Well, I've noticed this as well. It's funny you bring that up, is that the people who are kind of, I guess you call it, awakening. They're having an awakening. They don't want to admit they were wrong.
Well, that's
so they have to disguise it in some way. And there's a couple of different techniques they use. One of them is, I just don't like talking about politics.
Right.
That's like
deflection.
They're deflecting, like they don't agree with Democrats are doing anymore because they realize it's totally fucked.
Yes.
And they don't want to agree with anything the Republicans are doing because they're all Nazis.
Right.
So they're just like, I just don't do politics. It's just politics. It's a fucking. I never cared about that.
The
and
Nazi
it's like,
shit
yeah,
drives
you
me
did
crazy.
care about it.
You did, yes.
Yeah, I heard you freaking ranting and raving with TDS.
Right. I was just straight up wrong about Trump in the beginning, and then what it took the Taiwan phone call. And I didn't like how people were treating people. I wasn't going to be flipping out on Chris Bull because I grew up with him.
Right.
The dude would take a bullet for me. I'm not going to fucking
Right.
start treating him bad because he liked Trump and I didn't. That's shit I couldn't agree with.
Well, I didn't even know any people that liked Trump. I mean, not even that. Like I did, not even that I did like him because like I was still rooting for Bernie to win that, and that's
Right.
and Hillary stole it from Bernie, and that's like the fucking text message I read before. And I realized Bernie's a fucking fake.
We're fighting the media establishment by being on every media
Give me
establishment channel.
$15. Give me $15.
Last time I gave you $15, he didn't do shit.
Yeah, you blew it. You blew it, Bernie.
Right. It's over, Bernie.
So I mean,
Go back to battle, bro.
what
Where
fucking?
from.
I think I thought Trump was a fucking goon, and I was like, yeah, that guy's. I can't believe they're running this mutt. But then, when he made fucking Jeb Bush look like a fucking
Idiot.
little pussy, I was like, good. Fuck the Bush
Oh,
family.
absolutely. Fuck the Bush.
So that was the first thing I was like, fuck, yeah, okay, all right. This guy, he don't like the Bushes. That's a plus.
That's a plus. Sure. I don't like the Clintons. I don't like the Bushes. I don't like dynasties. Political dynasties are fucking what we fought a revolution against UK to get away from political dynasties.
Yeah. And then fucking when I saw, it was basically, the news media just jumped on him after it looked like he was going to win. They turned on him so hard. I was just like, this is like a straight setup.
Yeah.
And I just saw Hillary set up Bernie. So I fuck her.
Oh, absolutely.
I was just like, I don't care.
I couldn't bring myself to vote.
So
for
that's
her.
how I was like, okay, I'll at least, I'm going to go with this guy, even though he's fucking crazy. But he turned out not being crazy.
Right. He was just talked crazy, or sound bites were crazy. But his policies were pretty fucking sound.
Yeah.
They were pretty common sense. They weren't extreme. There was a lot of this shit
And he was also no war. He was
Right.
saying that, like, no.
Right.
And the other things that got me, and I've told you this before, but it was like after he did become president, he was just like, hey, we're over there for the oil. What do you think we're there for?
He was honest about it.
I was like, this guy's at least fucking honest.
Right. Now, it's that whole World War thing. I remember people flipping out, Trump's going to start World War III, and I'm thinking, against who? Like, who's going to challenge us?
Against who?
Well, like, no one's even going to think about challenging us. What the fuck are you talking about? They got their own problems over there. What's Cuba going to invade? Anyway, so I didn't really pay much attention to that. But there was people yelling about, he's going to start World War III. And now those same people are trying to start World War III.
And they're rooting it. Yeah, they're rooting it on.
And sometimes I just want to beat the living fuck out of you people, but I restrain myself, right? Because I got morals and ethics. It's true though. It's like how fucking hypocritical can you be? I mean,
well, that's what we're talking about. These people now that are starting to see, like, wait a second, maybe I better pump the brakes on this. This is getting a little out of hand.
The blatant hypocrisy.
And they just don't want to admit that they've been fucking following down this path of whatever type of I don't even know how to say, like, I don't want to say like the Biden's a fucking got this little criminal fucking empire with Ukraine or whatever, but whatever that is, whatever kind of business ties they got, it's becoming more aware to some people, and they're like, wait a second, there is no reason we should be in Ukraine.
Why the fuck are we in? What changed from 2014 to 2022 that we went from sending blankets to let's blow up the world over Ukraine?
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't make any sense.
And they don't want to admit it, so they're just backing out with these lame-ass excuses.
It's hard to change, right? To make a real change in yourself. And nobody wants to admit that everything they've ever believed in was a lie, right?
Yeah.
You know, whatever it is, whether you believe that the Maine was sunk by the Spanish, we had to get into a war and kill hundreds of thousands of Spanish because of the Maine, or any of those false flags, Holocaust, whatever you want to say. But, you know, well, I don't know much about the Holocaust. I know that we needed it because we were attacked by Japan. And we didn't have a real reason to go to war against Germany.
I mean, I don't know what the hell. I wish I studied more, but I didn't.
Either way.
But I do know
it's
war is fucking not the answer.
No, war is definitely not the answer. But I do know that, like, I can sympathize with them because when there's things I got to change about my life now, right? Smoking is one of the big things. Cappuccinos, smoking. There's some of the things, my sleeping pattern. Those are hard changes for me, right? They might seem like easy to somebody else, right? But for me, it means reanalyzing who I was, everything, all the decisions I made, realizing those were bad decisions, even though it was a good time. You know, and it takes to say, you have to say you were wrong in order to change, you know, and it sucks. You know, I didn't like staying I left the Democrat Party during the bank bailout because I was like, holy shit, fascism.
Holy shit, fascism.
Like literal fascism.
Yeah.
And yeah, I became a modern Whig for a while. I tried to take over that party, right?
That's funny.
It's a Zionist pit, but yeah, and I became a libertarian for a while, right? I still like the libertarians. I think they, you know.
What are you now?
I guess I'm independent.
Right.
You know. But I'm going to vote straight down the road Republican this time. Except for maybe Michelle Hinchy, because I know you.
And she's just back talking, like she's not really saying.
I don't know what she's saying, but I know her. I know her dad. I know the family. I guess it's kind of like honor or something, or commitment.
Commitment to the family traditions.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know.
But is she real? Like, is she doing anything worth a shit?
I don't think so. But
that's why you're not voting for her.
Who am I going to vote for then? Maybe you're right. Maybe I shouldn't vote for her. I'm not sure who she's running against because you don't see those ads. You're not allowed to know. But you know, I know her, so that may be the only Democrat I vote for this time. That's on my ballot, right? That's on my bill.
Oh, you're voting out of friendship.
Yeah, I'm friends of her, right?
Okay.
That would be the only reason I vote for her.
Okay. All right. Fair enough.
But I'll be voting for Lee Zeldin because nobody voted for Holtzell, and she's a fucking train wreck.
No, I feel like
she spoke for God.
I've heard some things
about Holtzell.
No, just like on the ground, like people that I've heard that said they've never voted before, and they're like, she's got to go.
She's got to go,
and they're gonna go vote just to get her out.
She's a fucking tyrant.
Yeah.
She said, "I could detain you indefinitely if I decide that you're a health risk to the public." What degrees in health does she have? Well, who the fuck is she?
Yeah.
Like, she spoke for God in Rochester last year about the vaccines, right? Saying God wants you to be vaccinated. If you don't get vaccinated, you're for Satan. And yeah, what?
I did not hear that.
Oh,
speech.
She said it in Rochester. Yep. I think she might be Catholic allegedly, which we'll forgive her, you know. But
psychopath.
Yeah, total fucking psychopath, man. And I have a lot of things I don't like about the Catholic Church. I became a sedevacanist, if you don't know.
You became a lot of stuff in your life, and a lot of other things.
I had to admit that shit I believed before was wrong and change and adapt.
You just keep going through all these. I've been this and I've been that, and I've tried to take this over, and I tried to do that.
I did. I tried to take the Whig Party over, right? Now, this is shit that bothers me, right? Because I am a fucking idiot. And I didn't go to school for political science, but I know what Westphalian sovereign philosophy is, and I can't talk to some politicians about that. They're like, "What? What's that?" That's how we decided what sovereignty was, like what's acceptable in society after the 30-year war. And they're just like, "What the fuck are you talking about?" And I'm like, "Jesus, this is bad." Either I'm smart and just don't know it.
That's part of it.
Or people are just fucking dumb.
There's more of that, though. There's a lot more of that. I mean, I'm sure I mean, sovereignty in itself, that's like, I mean, that's a term fairly well known, but probably not understood.
Right, it's not understood. Right. Now
And you actually have studied the creation of the word sovereignty.
Not the creation of the word.
Not the word, but the creation of how we
basically I learned that
have encoded it into our
I read the UN, right, guidelines and and they have guidelines for recognizing a nation, right?
Okay.
So the UN recognizes like 190 nations. There's like 210 on the earth or something, depending how you count it and what you count as a nation. And the UN has certain requirements. And they had a bunch of things that they cited as how they came up with these requirements. And one of them was Westphalian sovereign philosophy. And I was like, all right, well, that's German. What the fuck's that about? And then I realized it was about the 30-Year War, which I did know a little bit about the 30-Year War because I'm a war geek. And I decided, all right, I should look into this. And I found out this was a long process with a lot of philosophers who all added in from all different parts of Europe, right, in North Africa, in the Middle East, about what is sovereignty and what makes sovereignty. And if your leader believes in a certain thing, that means that belief is at least somewhat socially acceptable in that society. And it can't be illegal, right?
Okay.
If you remember when Nixon said, he was in that interview in the 70s, right, with that Australian reporter, and he said, the reporter said, are you saying that it's not illegal? And he said, no, what I'm saying is when the president does it, it's not illegal, right? And for my whole life, I just thought that was a fucked up thing to say, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then I realized, all right, it is fucked up, but it's very matter of fact, right? After I learned a little bit about Westfield, it's a little bit matter of fact because he is the head of state, right?
Right. So, okay.
And if he does it, then can it really be that illegal as long as it's gray area, which he was talking about? Right?
You're saying according to these rules for sovereignty by the UN, that goes.
Yeah,
because it's a belief from the leader of that sovereign nation.
Right, and there's nothing in our belief system or in our Constitution that says Richard Nixon couldn't record himself. Right. He's entitled to record himself. Right?
Interesting. Very interesting.
So it wasn't illegal, because he's allowed to document his life if he wants to.
Wow. Yeah. Well, that's interesting. Learn something new every day.
Yeah. So
read the UN. What papers? UN.
There are qualifications for national sovereignty.
Qualifications for national sovereignty. Yeah.
I read a lot of legal shit that I'm just like, what the fuck did I just read? I got to read that again. I didn't understand that. And I can read it 3 or 4 times and still not understand it, but I'm going to give it a try. It took me about 6 months to get through the Second Amendment. You think it's like 3 lines, right?
Yeah, yeah.
But when you start looking into it, there's a lot there. You got to translate it to fucking 1800 speech, right?
Right.
You understand where it was being said. And I was a person that thought all right, well, maybe you shouldn't have like some guns, right? And after I studied it for 6 months, I'm like, these motherfuckers, I should be allowed to have nuclear weapons. What the fuck, right?
You should under that.
And then there's precedent for it right now. Madison, one of the guys that signed the Constitution, right? He was approached by a mercenary, and he said, the mercenary said, hey, as an American citizen, not a mercenary, as a merchant, I'm sorry. He was approached by a merchant. As an American citizen, can I protect my ship with cannons, even though I'm going into other waters? And are they going to declare war on the United States because I have an armed vehicle and yada, yada, yada? And Madison said, yeah, you can arm your ship. Matter of fact, here's the most destructive weapon we have. I recommend this. And he recommended the most state-of-the-art cannon, which was the nuclear bomb at the time, right? The peak of military technology at that time, as far as weaponry were the cannons. Either that or, a star fort, right, or castle.
Mm-hmm.
But these cannons, right, were top of the line. And James Madison said, yeah, you guy who lives down the road and is a loser,
you should be able to
buy this.
Yeah, that's like us being able to walk into Northrop Grumman or just buying some fighters or something.
Yes.
You know,
Park
why
my
not?
F-13 in the driveway.
Tom Cruise should be able to fly a fucking F-1 Tomcat.
Yeah, according to our laws, they're originally written. Now, in 1931, they made a firearms and explosives amendment to the second, or addition to the, I can't remember how they word it, but it's a clause on the Second Amendment where it banned machine guns, right? It banned, you can't make bombs, right? It banned certain things, right? You can't go hunting with landmines, right? It makes total sense.
Yeah, that's a pretty good idea. That wouldn't suck. Just somebody leaves their landmine out in the woods.
Yeah, and I'm thinking to
I
myself,
didn't catch nothing today. Maybe tomorrow.
I'm thinking to myself, at one time, this had to be enough of a problem that you made it to the Congress and they decide you can't do it.
Yeah, let's stop that.
People are deer hunting with landmines.
Holy fuck.
Yeah, could you imagine coming across a dead deer in the woods, blown up? Up.
Yeah, looks
Bouncing Betty got him.
The Call of Duty friggin' hunting. That'd be a great fucking game.
Call of Duty hunting. Got the whole herd right here.
Holy shit.
But apparently that was going on at one time enough that they had to address it. And after I read that, I was like, all right, this shit's already all legal. They've already pretty much looked into it. And the real problem is, I see with the Second Amendment is, especially the firearms and explosives clause, is that it's all about gunpowder, right?
Okay.
You can make a rail gun not covered by any of those laws, right? And the technology is now evolving where these black powder guns, gunpowder guns, right? Firearms that use the chemical process are being phased out, right? Everything improves, gets better, more efficient, easier to use, whatever, more effective. And that's going to happen with arms as well, right? And that's why they used the word arms. They didn't say muskets, right? Because they understood the arms evolved, right? Just like everything else. So that's why they didn't say, like, you got to use your gunpowder gun and fucking pack your musket, and you can only have 2 muskets packed in there at a time. They used the word arms on purpose because that covered anything that was going to happen in the future, right? And, you know, we're at a point where that technology is about to change. We're on the brink of seeing changes in personal defense, right? Where we already got Chinese grunts out there running around with direct energy weapons, right? Personal direct energy weapons. So the theory's there. It's already happening, right? It's not theory anymore. It's reality. Where the Chinese are already issuing this weapon to grunts. They're the first one to do it, right?
I haven't seen that.
This happened like 7 years ago.
The direct energy weapon?
They got troops with direct energy weapons.
What the fuck is it? What's it do?
It could be a microwave. I don't know, but it's a direct energy weapon.
You've seen it in action on like in video, or
you don't really see anything when it fires.
It's basically a laser.
It could be.
It's not like one of the sound fucking weapons.
It could be a sound weapon. Yeah, direct energy.
Anything that's in that category is called a direct energy weapon.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Yeah, compared to a kinetic weapon where like a bullet is fired out of a gun and it hits something, right?
So anything categorized from fucking lasers to fucking whatever you could think of.
Bowcasters, yeah.
Is it
microwaves?
Okay.
That's a direct energy weapon, yeah.
Oh, I thought they were like a certain... I didn't know they were a whole class of weapon.
Yeah, some of them are based off...
I thought it was like the name of a certain style.
No, it's a whole class of weapons, right?
Okay.
And a lot of it's based off the Hutchison effect, right?
Mm-hmm.
He was creating direct energy weapons where that could tear apart metal and, you know...
Yeah.
Make them turn the fire cold
could
fire.
be magnetic.
Could be magnetic, right.
Yeah, whatever.
And, you know, rail guns are still a kinetic weapon.
Plasma, is that?
That would be a direct energy weapon. But
a rail gun is still a kinetic one. Yes,
even
even though it uses magnets to fire.
Right. It's not a
projectile.
firearm though, because it doesn't use a chemical process to make that projectile
to combust.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So it wouldn't be covered over in the 1931 Firearms Act.
Really?
Right? Well, yeah, because it's a different technology. You're sending 2 electrical.
Yeah. Rail pulses or whatever signals.
Right, to push an object down the thing. So those, you know, people are making those in their garages now.
I see them on the market already.
Right.
They're on there. You can buy ones that look like little shotguns like this, and you can change how fast the friggin' little discs shoot out and everything.
And they're not covered by that law because they're not using
I wonder
the same
how they're
process.
being fucking
I don't think they're covered
regulated.
At all right now. They're not.
That's crazy.
They're so rare that there's no need to make a law.
Yeah, and with batteries, technology now coming like into such its own, they're going to just get better and better.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Same as like the flying jetpacks and the fucking flying, all that shit that like the fucking Iron Man fucking suits.
I thought we'd have those by now.
They're out there now, but
I want one not really bad.
You've seen them though, right? You've
I've
seen those
seen
videos.
Jetpack. Yeah, I would love a jetpack.
Dude,
I'd sell my car.
all we got to do is raise some money. Let's raise like $50,000 or $500,000, or we could be flying
That's
around.
right. And only you can keep the show.
You
going,
can help
right?
us here.
Only you.
You want to see us flying around in jetpacks? Just send us your
They're
money.
trying to bring this show down, and we need your support, right?
to fight
against the establishment. To fly jetpack.
Holy shit!
Yeah, I mean, if you had jetpacks, there goes Bridges. Fuck Bridges, right? Let's talk about Bridges for a second.
No, we gotta get going. I got stuff to do.
All right, we'll see you next week.
Well, before that, I guess we'll talk about this afterwards. But next week, I will definitely be on the road. I don't know if Barney will be joining me.
I got 50 cents to my name.
See, you should have sent money, people.
People.
You should have sent the monies.
I should have waited to tell my mom about it because she was one to help when it was 2 weeks. But then I changed it to a month, and she thought I was taking her for a ride.
Well, we're back to almost 2 weeks.
I'll try it again.
Well, anyways, I will be on the road next week. We're going to try and cast. We're going to do our best. We'll figure it out. Barney may or may not be there. He may be just a little guy in a window. I don't know. We'll see what can happen.
All right.
But other than that, thanks for tuning in, everybody. We appreciate. We're sorry to neglect you.
Yeah.
Our audience.
Sorry to neglect it. Yeah.
We're going to Rumble. We're going to Odyssey, maybe.
Make sure you reach out and you touch that subscribe button like Hunter Biden and Counter and his niece.
Beat the crap out of the like button.
Beat the crap
out of the button.
Right.
Yep. It was a good show.
Yeah, I had fun.
We just rambled today.
Energy level.
No points. No talking points. No nothing.
I didn't make any notes.
There's just so much, and we didn't even talk about half of the stuff. We'll be sitting here in a couple minutes, being like, "Oh my god,
I forgot that." Yeah.
Yeah.
Because so much has happened, and the whole thing is like, the first victim of war is truth, right?
Yeah.
And we're experiencing that right now, and they're trying to kill us.
Just remember, nuclear war's bad.
It's
people.
bad for the
environment.
Yeah.
All right. So, anything else?
Nah.
We'll see you soon. Remember, wherever you go, there you are.